Welcome back inside the Broome County Veterans Memorial Arena on this Friday night as the Binghamton Senators taking on the defending Calder Cup champion Hershey Bears. Grady Wittenberg, pleased to be with you, and pleased now to have as my guest rookie forward Colin Greening out of Cornell University. And Colin, the team making a little bit of a push here. I know we're just past the midway point of the season, but feels pretty good right now to be in a playoff position, I think. Talk about the feeling inside the room and looking forward here for the final 34 games of the season, I guess it is.
Well, yeah, you're right. Obviously, we're really pushing for the playoffs, and I think especially since the beginning of January, we've been playing really, really well. I think it started with that trip down to Charlotte. Ever since then, I think we've been playing really consistent, and that's important, especially for these games. When you think about like the games 40 to 50. Now, I really don't have any personal experience with this, but I know a lot of the veteran guys have talked to me about how these are the toughest games to kind of get through because you can get a little lethargic and you can get a little complacent. So I'm really happy we're playing really well, and in the dressing room, the mood is great. Everyone is enjoying the time. Obviously, we have a good record in the last 10 games, so you can't be too upset about that. And guys are just enjoying coming to the rink and having fun with one another.
Well, for sure. And we're going to kind of talk to you about that a little bit later on in our interview. You talk about kind of hitting that 40 to 50 game stage, and I guess the dog days of August, you kind of compare that to from a baseball analogy, but being a first-year pro as well, you've had a little bit of adjustment to that. But taking us back to preseason, had a pretty good camp with the Binghamton Senators, 3 games having been played up in Newfoundland, which I know was special to you, being a St. John's native. And coming into the season, I thought your camp was better than where you ended up on the fourth line on opening night. Talk about your feelings heading into the year and how you thought your preseason went, and then when opening night rolled around when you were sitting in Coach Kurt Kleinendorf's lineup.
Well, that's a fair assessment. I think I did have a good preseason tournament. Maybe it was the fact that I was in my home province that kind of gave me a little extra spark. But in terms of ending up in the fourth line, that's all part of learning. And it doesn't really matter what happened preseason because when you think about it, there's about 8 or 9 guys that came down after our preseason tournament in Newfoundland, and they have you got to fill spots for those guys. And obviously I was happy to be in the lineup. That was important to me, and whether I was on the first line or fourth line was still a good learning experience for me. But I think since then I've worked hard to learn the game as much as I can, and work my way up to a higher line. And like I said, I'm still learning, and I'm still trying to keep my place on a higher line. But it certainly is a good learning experience. And the entire year, and it's been great. Obviously the veterans have really helped me out, and ever since preseason, I think it's just been a big learning experience for me.
You've been down that fourth line to start the season, and I think one of the more incredible turnarounds, and hopefully you don't take that as a slight, but you now find yourself playing on what I guess you could call Binghamton's number 1 line. Maybe there's 1A and 1B. When you talk about Eric Condra and Jim O'Brien, the term that really sticks to them from head coach Kurt Kleinendorf is honest player, and as my visits with the coach during each pregame show on the radio side have evolved, you've been placed into that class as well. And I know that has to be a pretty good pat on the back for you, but your effort, starting on that fourth line, elevating you all the way up to play with Corey Locke and Ryan Keller. Talk about how they've helped your game flourish even more, and talk about the attributes that you bring that have helped them as well.
Well, you can't say enough about Locke and Keller. Obviously, Keller's our captain, and Locker is obviously he's close to being our captain, one of our assistants. They're both great leaders on the team and veteran guys that have been around for quite a while. And you talk about Ryan Keller, obviously he's just a natural goal scorer, and whenever I'm on the ice, if I can get the puck to him, I always make an honest effort to try and get him the puck. And you talk about Corey Locke, obviously he's in the All-Star game for a good reason, and he's just a natural playmaker. Obviously one of the biggest things that coach has always told me is, when you go to the net, keep your stick on the ice, if Locke has the puck, because he'll find a way to get it on your stick. So those guys have been, great to play with just because they're such skilled guys and they know the game, and they're willing to teach me too, which is, obviously very, very gratifying for myself because, obviously I'm a first-year guy and I'm trying to learn, and just these little things that, I'll come off on a shift like, hey, you maybe try it like this time, or next time, try it like this, and that stuff means a lot to me. And I think for myself, I'm a big body. I'm good on the forecheck, and I think I'm able to get the puck back for them. Obviously I can cause turnovers, and make plays to them, and I think so far we've had some good chemistry. So hopefully we can keep it up.
Oh, for sure. And it really seems, and kind of circling back to your earlier statement, talking about the team as a whole and hitting this 40 to 50 game mark of the regular season. You, as a first-year pro, this is more games than you've ever played in a collegiate season at Cornell University, but you seem to excel during this time. As the team has gotten better, so have you. And what are some of the things that you might attribute that to?
I just think I just try and treat my body right and get lots of rest. I didn't realize how important sleep was until this year. Last year, in the college season, you're always up a little bit late sometimes, working on a project or studying for an exam, and you realize now you got to make sure you're getting to bed on time. And I think eating right and stretching and things like that has really helped me. And I'm not sure if this has helped me too much, but I also think it's kind of a mental battle. And I think back to my junior days where I did play about 60-plus games, so I try to kind of recall what I went through down there and what I did to kind of keep my body in check and to make sure I was able to play up to speed. But I think it's just just been trying to take care of myself, lots of sleep, and two, obviously, like I said, I always kind of relate back to the veterans. They've always given me little tips of what to do on the bus, getting lots of sleep, and obviously just make sure you're not expelling too much energy when you don't need to.
Now, going back to your Cornell days, head coach Mike Schaefer and strength and conditioning coach Tom Holly, who I'm pretty good friends with, I know what they do during the off season, or maybe August when you guys come back into school preparing for the fall semester in the classroom, but then it's hockey dryland training time. Talk about maybe the impact that's had here in your transition to a pro.
That definitely did help. I have to say, the workouts that we went through at Cornell were pretty grueling, I have to, but I never went through anything like that before. And Coach Tom Howley, he was obviously I'm very close with him, and he always comes up with these workouts that are both physically and mentally challenging. And I think that's a big part of playing a long season. It's a mental battle when you get to these games. You're like, oh my goodness, I've got 40 more to go, and obviously I've played 40 and you're kind of banged up and bruised. So I think going through those workouts that I've gone through with Coach Howley have paid dividends, and that's the biggest thing is you can always get through a workout, but can you kind of match that mental battle? And a lot of workouts are a mental battle, and I think that's what Coach Howley really stresses in his workouts, and that's what I kind of went through for 4 years. So I definitely think I would definitely agree with you to say that that really helped me.
On the Big Red, known as one of the more physical teams in the ECAC, sometimes compared to the style maybe played out west in the Western Collegiate Hockey Association, and maybe that grinding type of game, that physical type of game that head coach Mike Schaefer likes to institute, that helped you as a pro here as well, coming in here, and things are a little bit quicker, but you've got some size and you can put that to good use and put the body on a lot of people.
Yeah, that's kind of our MO is how big and strong we are, and we're a cycle team, puck possession team, and I think that's no different than kind of the MO we have right now. I think we're, I have to say I think we have a little more skill than I've had in the past on our Cornell teams. Not to say we didn't have skill on the Cornell teams, but think about Corey Locke and Dogovans, all those guys. They're very, very skilled players, I also agree that we're like a puck possession team, and I think we take pride in taking care of the puck, and I think that's something that I learned at Cornell, and I think that's something that I carried over to Binghamton.
Colin Greening, my second intermission guest here tonight, the leading rookie scorer for the Binghamton Senators, surpassing Bobby Butler. He had the early splurge, but you kind of caught up to him here, and it's a little battle that you probably don't really look at within the inside of the dressing room, but it's nice to have talented youngsters like yourselves here in Binghamton and certainly playing into this team's success.
Well, thank you very much. It's you think about, obviously, Bobby Butler. Obviously, I think I kind of overtook him just because he's up there playing.
He's
a few
on a
games.
yo-yo like the goalies.
Yeah, he's kind of up there playing a few games with Ottawa. So once he gets back, I'm sure he'll be back here putting up points again.
All right, Greener, thanks for this, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Colin Greening, my second intermission guest here in Binghamton. The Sens and the Bears. More hockey action coming up in just a moment here on Time Warner Cable Sports.